Hello, big friends! Welcome to another episode of Acting Up with Alvaro, the mini show where I tell you what I'm watching, why I love it, and why I recommend it every single Monday. Also the show where I highlight certain actors or performances that I personally enjoyed. That said, minor spoilers ahead. Today we're talking about It's a Sin. Now really buckle up for this one, friends, because this show is really emotional. I dare say you might not have a heart if you don't cry while watching this show. I binged it in one night because there's only 5 episodes and they're each about 45 minutes long. But what the show is about is basically a group of close friends who live in the UK in the decade that HIV and AIDS gets first discovered. Because the show takes place in the UK, there are a lot of references where the characters would dismiss HIV and AIDS because they think it's just an American thing and would never get to them. As a scientist, I will say that did grind my gears a bit, but anyways, based on the description that I just told you, you can imagine it doesn't end very well. Pretty much every episode leaves you devastated. And while I think the entire cast had phenomenal chemistry and did their job incredibly well, I'd like to specifically highlight the talent of Callum Scott Howell, who plays Colin in the show. Colin was just the sweetest and most noble character in this series. He played by the rules and was kind to literally everyone, yet still could not outrun the virus. Which is shocking to discover because you think, this is not fair. How could this happen to someone who is the most careful? But then you discover he got the virus from only having one partner before HIV became public knowledge. And PSA friends, that's all it takes, so do practice safe sex until you absolutely trust your partner or your partners. So now going back to the show, we learn that Colin has the virus when he collapses at work and begins to have a seizure. In time, he begins to lose himself in his ability to interact with others. There's this really uncomfortable scene where he's on the hospital bed, and he gets a visit from his friend Richie, who Colin admits that he had a crush on earlier on the show. And then he proceeds to masturbate while looking at him while everybody else is still in the room. It was just so disheartening to see him lose himself. And I have such a huge admiration for actors who can perform going through illnesses really well. It's not easy to do, but if done correctly, it'll leave you guttered. And like I mentioned earlier too, there's a lot of stuff that goes down that really makes you sad and upset. So I will say that if you do plan on watching it, please make sure you have the tissues ready. You can catch this miniseries on HBO Max now. Take care, friends, and I will see you next Monday.